it can be a good idea to watch some films as a supplement to the required reading for this course. Of course, your first task is to do a thorough and careful reading of the literature itself. Make sure as you're reading that you are annotating for elements of style, looking at diction, looking at syntax, looking at imagery, figurative language, writing lots of marginalia, and really making a good faith effort to understand the text on its own terms. But after you've done that as an enrichment, you might want to take a look at some movies, and I have some recommendations that you might enjoy. One of them is the Sally Porter film of Virginia Woolf's novel Orlando. And Orlando could be a fun one to start with because it follows the 400-year history of the Lord / Lady Orlando, and starts in the Elizabethan period, which is a little bit later than where our course starts. Of course, we start back with the Anglo-Saxons, but then moves from the Restoration and the Age of Reason into the Romantic and Victorian era and on into the modern period. And the film actually goes beyond where Woolf's novel goes into the postmodern age as well. So for a fun and fictional historical overview, Orlando can be a good watch. And then as we get into the 19th century and we read George Bernard Shaw's play Pygmalion, you may want, as a wonderful indulgence, to see the musical My Fair Lady. And with My Fair Lady, of course, we have a fabulous, fabulous cast. You've got Rex Harrison and Audrey Hepburn. The musical was made after Shaw's death, but just about a decade or so later. And there is a version of Pygmalion, a Hollywood film version, that he was involved with the screenplay. And you can maybe find that too if you are interested. Going back a little ways into the 18th century and the Restoration, you may be interested after reading William Wycherley's The Country Wife, which is our Restoration drama. There's a film called Stage Beauty, starring Billy Crudup and Claire Danes, that talks about the first English actress to legally perform on the British stage. So following after the tradition of all-male cast, which of course was the convention during the Renaissance, in the time of William Shakespeare, when you have Charles II restored to the British throne. You have an entirely different kind of theater, and Stage Beauty is a fun film for looking at what that was like. And then lastly, as we finish off the course with postmodernism, you might be interested in seeing Remains of the Day with Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson, a wonderful film from the early 90s about Kazuo Ishiguro's novel, Remains of the Day, and just a superb cast. So if you've got access to those, enjoy the films as enrichment, but make sure that they're not a substitution for the careful work that you've done in reading and analyzing the literature itself.